If you are ready, I think I'm ready. And the black screen.
That's a different one.
Actually, that's kind of normal for us at this point, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, well, that's interesting.
Restart. A restart worked. Okay. Hey.
Hot
Howdy,
damn.
folks.
Hello. It's us. The internet.
It is us looking once again at Boat Crew.
We played this last time, and I remember it was just you getting
Like
your
2
ass
years
kicked.
ago, yeah.
Yeah, and then I bought the game not long after that, and I found out it was diabolically difficult. Where, yeah,
Once you
the
lose
game is.
that first ship that they give you points on, you can never recover. Or at least
You
couldn't
can
in
now.
that build.
Yeah, they've made it to where it's not just diabolically difficult. Where, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I expected the boatuary to be a list of all of the boats that I've killed. Like a mortuary.
As the guy sings, like, the dives we've known.
The Furutaka class. I'll get you back for running down JFK. Okay, nifty. Okay.
Yeah, the game has a lot now. It's been developed really well. I occasionally play it.
On my end as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, war is loud.
War is loud, but we don't have to be.
That's fair.
This is merely a simulacrum.
Yeah, it is that. And I'm glad that you used that correctly, because I've had people say that word, and I go, I don't think that means what you think it means. Use it in a sentence.
Hawkins.
Yeah.
That's new. There's no 74 though. I can't build
Not yet.
T-54 in this? Bullshit.
Well, I mean, you got to choose which boat you want. They're all a little different. I typically rock the Pacific Standard of the Elko because it's a big son of a bitch.
It is.
And that's what you need.
I believe the most numerous build, right?
Yeah, it's tough. It could actually take the weather.
Because the 78 Higgins didn't start to show up until later in the war than the Solomons.
Well, right, and this is set in the Solomons, and they're making all of them at the same time, which is, you know, not exactly accurate, but I mean, I forgive them for it.
Yeah.
And thanks for the support, everybody. But yeah, Boat Crew is really fun. I wish there was multiplayer co-op so we could go do raids together or something, because it is goofy.
Would make this just absurd. Okay,
Yeah.
Harry Oates has a funny name. You're a gunner now.
You're a gunner now, Harry Oates.
Antonio Percante. I won't.
Is that a balls joke, Harry Oates?
I'm just saying. Save that lieutenant for when I lose one of these guys.
They're saying Depp is very quiet now. What?
Oh, I'm quiet? Very rarely happens.
No, very rarely.
Okay, what about now?
What about now?
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Yeah, PT-109 was an 80-foot Elko.
Yeah, Elkos are...
PT-59, which he turned into a gunboat the second that he returned from getting run down in PT-109, was a 74-footer. And that got burned on something point. Boyle's Point? Botan Point? Something like that.
A lot of things explode.
There you go, Myron.
Myron Longo.
Alright, Cyril, we can't have you with that facial hair. You're not in my Navy. We're bringing Keith in. Alright, mustaches are allowed. Ooh. We'll save Amos and Steven.
Are you saying that you wouldn't allow someone to have a mustache in your Navy? Or a full beard?
Out back and corrected for that facial hair in this time period.
That's fair. I mean, that is true.
They let a lot of stuff go in Italy and Europe that they did not in the Pacific. Okay.
Police that mustache.
We gotta police it.
So I love that it has Lewis guns and everything as a start, because good God.
Yeah.
But when the old version of this game, when you started, you only had the Lewis guns. There was no Orlican on the rear deck.
Nope.
None. That helps. And in this version of the game, guess what you can do? You can actually put an Orlican in each of the tub mounts.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, they allow you to do some fucked up PT boat stuff.
Okay. Mark 8.
Like, look at the guns and look at the bow guns. Cause
I can do racker tubes. Oh, that is. Ugh.
What's the difference? How salty they get?
The difference is the rack. They usually fall off. The tube, they had like a 25% rate of not making it out of the tube and just detonating. The Mark 8s were not well loved by the PT boat crews. To the point that to make sure that they made it out of the tube, often one of the gunners would have a hammer on his belt, and his job was to go whack the firing pin and make sure that it got off correctly, because the command detonation wouldn't work half the time, and they just have a hot torpedo stuck on their ship.
Fun times.
Depth charges. I don't think we need those. Those got ripped off pretty quickly.
Now go to your guns. I want to show you something in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave
because
the
they've made
Mark
some.
8s. I hate them, but
It's what you got. But go to your guns, right? And go to the heavy weapon 4 mount. Like, trust me on this. I want to show you what you can get into.
oh,
3-inch dual purpose.
They grabbed the 3-inch gun off a PC.
Yeah. Now, here's the best part of that gun. When you shoot it, the boat goes sideways.
I don't doubt it. Dual Bofors? Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, you can do dual Bofors fore and aft.
I notice, maybe it's under utility. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's the PT-109 modification. The M3 lash to the deck.
Or the autocannon off of a P-37. Or P-39, rather.
Yep. Mortars. And then a 75mm pack howitzer.
Yeah.
The shit they did to these boats is just insane.
Oh, yeah. By the way, you put that howitzer on there just by clicking off it.
Yeah. And then we've got rockets. Okay. Good old mousetraps. Oh, no.
I've not found the rockets to be useful for anything.
I'm not surprised. Disappointed, but not surprised.
The gun tubs, like, there you go. 1919, baby.
It's better than a Lewis gun. I don't know why
Lewis
starting with Lewis guns.
Well, I think they needed something that was lighter than a 30-06, and 303 is. It's, lighter than that, but...
Well, our first PT boats were from the British. Because they were calling them, like, PBTRs or something.
Motor launch for gentlemen.
Anyway, yes. Can we strip anything from this crew to make money for guns?
Take the torps off.
But the torps... Ripping the torps off isn't correct for this time period yet.
The autism, it compels me to be correct.
It does. Okay, we're going to put our repairs right there. We're going to get them off the front deck, because that's just asking for somebody to fall the fuck off. No, not front deck center. I want... sure, front deck left. Oh, all the way out there. Okay. Do we really need med kits?
You know, I like the way you think.
I think
I
we could use ammo there.
I process requests in Space Station 13 the same way. Working as QM, people are like, I need med kits. And I'm like, do you need or do you want them?
Torps.
The Battle Pumpkin has been subscribed for 31 months.
Oh, hey. Note to self. We need tubes. Yeah, I think we need the tubes. The autism won't let me get rid of them. Okay. So there's our very wimpy PT boat loadout for the Solomons. But it's what they're giving us. So let's go.
We got like the loner.
Yeah, let's go batter some children that we can probably take on.
Oh yeah, go join that battle. They start you off with an operation where you can go in there and just be the honorable third party.
Ah, yes. Well, that definitely sounds like my kind of bag.
You also have 2 boats with you to start with now.
Oh!
However, they're very weak and all they have is 30 cals, but what they do is they prevent you from getting shot.
Yeah, they wind up being pretty decent bullet sponges, because everything targeting just you because you're doing these raids alone just murdered you.
All right.
Remember that.
All right. Get in there.
Okay, those are way out of range.
Yeah, the Air Force is already working on it. Oh, Shooby-Doo has made a mistake.
Already I've made a mistake? Oh.
No, we had someone subscribe and it says they've made a mistake.
Yes, okay, I got you now. Oh, and
what I love in this
boats to match.
Yeah, what I love in this though is that you get the Fido mine, the mark, you know, the little guy.
Yeah.
That thing is fantastic. Because we called it a mine, but it wasn't.
No.
It was an acoustic torpedo.
Pull a little sneaky on the Japanese. All right.
That's what you gotta do.
Schmidt. Why are you manning first aid station? What are you two doing? You know what? Never mind. Do you think if I were to dress the entire crew as if they were officers, they would act as such?
No. I also think you're missing some crewmen.
I'm not. Where are my gunners?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, are they just standing out on the deck? Did you not employ them? Oh shit, we forgot Gary.
Can't take it on that fucking gun. Okay. There we go. Aaron, get on the gun. Who are you? Oates, get on that fucking gun. Thank you. Okay. Now somebody else did all of the killing. Now we gotta come in and finish it off. And I swear to God, I will destroy this fucking engine to get there before they sink that thing.
Well, I mean, there's also loot you can pick up. Because your naval forces have done the hard part. They've rendered the enemy into dirt. And now you can go sift through the mulch. And it is glowing on the radar for you.
I see that. However, I have a problem.
Which one? Oh. Oh. You held the engine get hot.
I said I would
button.
ruin this fucking engine if that's what it took.
Problem is you've ruined multiple engines, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
If there was wireless cameras and image and meme sharing back in World War II, your engineer would have sent a picture of the exhaust pipe that was like glowing to the point that it was, you know, like see-through, and it would just write suboptimal.
F's in chat, boys. We're about to be stranded.
God. Yeah, you've got all them big piles of loot out there, so go start getting them.
For all these
That's
kills
yours.
I didn't do.
No, you're a hero. You were there at the battle.
See if I can get run down by one of our own destroyers. Oh, I feel very accomplished.
Go get all that gravy. That's yours. You've earned it.
I guess I have. You ever work around CWIS?
Yeah, they're terrifying.
And how sometimes they go from idle to tracking airliners with, about half a second in between.
I saw a CWIS start tracking a piece of trash that had blown in the wind.
Oh yeah, I regularly see it track like birds and shit.
Yeah.
CRAM 2 is even less stable because it's supposed to track tiny things. But that kind of barely controlled desire to make Sinky is what I feel as I watch these torpedo aim lines cross friendly ships.
Oh, so that call of the void,
Yeah.
the want to do harm to your fellow shipmates, you're just like, hey guys, not saying I do it, but boy, he's just right there.
I do know one way to get me a destroyer kill.
You paint a destroyer on the side like a tally.
I don't
They
have to
look
put the flag next to it. People will just assume.
Yeah, people assume we were badasses.
So I believe this green circle means this is a supply ship.
Yep.
Stand to and prepare to be boarded, motherfucker. Okay. I think that is enough to get us something nice.
Get back to Tulagi and see if you're short on crew, because I think you are.
I think I am.
I think, like, the gunners went out and got fucking drunk, you know?
Sometimes, you miss the boat. Don't ever do that, by the way. The Navy really does not like that. No. There we go. Okay. Guns. We want 1919s in that. Can't afford anything fun there yet. I could put a mortar on it.
Yeah, why not just a little mortar, you know, as a treat?
I could go up to 50s. That is starting to be kind of a low firepower boat, but it's getting there.
I mean, yeah, look, 50 cals, perfect. That's one of those, if I had all the money in the world, I definitely have 50 cals. In practicality, I have no range where I can use one.
Yeah. I can't believe you all let me leave without hiring any gunners.
You were too busy complaining about their mustaches.
Not mustaches, those are beards.
Those are barely beards.
Listen, the Dr. Venture goatee is enough to get your ass kicked, okay?
Now, Panzerfan asks, wouldn't a mortar mess with the deck? Weren't they made of wood? They were made of wood. And you were
Yeah,
presuming
they're
that the U.S.
mahogany.
Navy... Yeah, you were presuming that the U.S. Navy cared enough to actually maintain these things long term. At the end of the war, they beached and burned them.
Yeah.
They were like, and done.
Ooh, okay. So I can have some interesting... Up to 5 ships in my squadron. Okay. Let's go see if there's anything out there that we can kick some sand in its face. Oh, we've got a fuel meter now? I think Savo will be unhappy if we show up on their door.
Look, if they... Yes, they will. But, I mean, that's your point. Your job is just to be difficult.
My job is to be a little asshole. Harassing the enemy was the entire purpose of the PT boats. Look, they're panicking.
Succeeded. They succeeded admirably.
They did. Light base defenses? I bet I got enough to get killed by light base defenses.
I find that if you just drive real fast, sometimes only about half the bullets hit you.
Real fast, you say?
Yeah.
It's another ship on the horizon. Okay. Alright, boys. Ah, I see. They're over there because I moved them around in the little card deck.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Someone's asking, why is the officer just standing on the foredeck? He likes it.
Look at him. He's got... What does he have? He's got a little first aid packet in his hand. He's gonna dump that sulfa powder all over your wound so fucking hard, and it's gonna burn. And we're gonna find out after the war that it did practically nothing. They're just torturing people. These do seem awful light, these base defenses. If I go park at the pier, does that count as a landing? Can I send some crew ashore?
God, that would be hilarious.
Single PT boat takes Savo Island.
You just show up, put the flag up, and leave.
Yeah, it was unmanned. It says PT Captain. There's supposed to be, like, people here somewhere, right? Did they
People,
evacuate?
you say. Get closer.
Oh.
Seems like they found you.
Oh, yeah. Don't hit the pier. Don't hit the pier. That's the best advice I've got for you.
You know, I've found that you can jump the pier.
Oh, can you?
However, I also realized that by jumping the pier, you can become stuck on the pier.
Seems suboptimal.
You know, I thought so as well.
So by cleverly going around the island to the right, I'm putting my piers closer to the shallows so that if anybody beaches, it's not me. That's how you can tell I'm leadership material. There's a machine gun nest? Who's hitting me with airburst flak? What kind of fucking machine gun did they have in there?
Well, I mean, you don't know. These guys have been on the island a while. They're probably, you know, going crazy, drinking some torpedo juice cocktails, and here you come up with the loudest boat they've heard in a while, right? And proceed to start doing a drive-by or two.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that, but they're also being supplied by a submarine
Yeah, that's fair.
on account of we sink anything above the water between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Well, if they didn't want that, you know, they'd stop you.
They would. I need to get you guys K-pop vests.
Well, tell chat, what's a K-pot vest?
I like preserver. With a big, stiff fucking collar. Won't let you turn your head.
Well, that's how you see danger.
Oh, God. I want to say it's filled with, like, some kind of plant fiber. So that you could puncture it and it could kind of, sort of fill with water and still be kind of, sort of floaty.
I love kinda sorta here as a measure.
So by the time I was wearing them, they were pretty sorry looking, and I don't think that they really floated. So it's probably the 80s. But you know, they were around.
Well, when was yours manufactured, would you guess?
I don't know. All the stamps wore off long before I was born. They had like 8 different stencils on them because they had been stenciled for this or that duty station or position, and then painted over with a giant gray square so that a new station could be put on slightly off center, because that's the way the Navy does things. Off center. That burning. Alright, this is the edge. Oh god, no, 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 don't touch the red line. No, no, we're not leaving the engagement. Reverse, reverse. Full steam astern.
This is the captain on the boat that's running gas. Full steam astern!
Not just gas, these things ran on like 100 octane, right?
Yeah, they ran on race fuel.
Because that was part of the reason the Navy didn't want to use them post-war. Was they were just hell to keep fed. They're giant race boat engines stuffed into a mahogany plywood body to get the most power to weight ratio they could. They're still 56 tons. Like, this thing is a 56-ton ship, even though the Navy classified them as boats because they didn't want to have to name them all.
Nothing like being reminded you're disposable at every step, right?
Yeah, exactly, right?
You know.
Between that, they refuse to promote, generally speaking, the PT boat guys. So you've got a bunch of guys who spent the entire war as ensigns, and they've got, multiple medals for valor.
And then after the war, they were told to leave.
Yeah, after the war, they were told, we don't need you anymore. And then just as soon as they finally, grown accustomed to civilian life, these guys finally have jobs in factories and boardrooms and shit. They get called up for Korea.
And they're like, what were you on? They're like, PT boat. And they're like, ew.
Yeah. Yeah, we're assigning you to BB-62. Why? Because on paper you were a gunnery officer. And that's
plywood, steel, all the same.
Yeah, so those guys would just get thrown into the deep end, woefully unprepared. Because
the Battle Pumpkin says in 2007 he was handed a vest from the 70s.
Okay. I don't doubt it. Ooh! Look at those wee little anti-landing baskets they've got. That's a nice detail. I didn't expect that. I assume we've got a couple more defenses on the other side of the pier that we gotta go find. Yeah, in Korea you probably did want to be in the Navy. If you complain too hard, they'd find a way to put you ashore, I'm sure. Yeah, PT guys were considered more aggressive than destroyer captains. Absolutely. The only defense you had was audacity in these things. If you were not running around being the biggest bastard you could, then you would just get killed. 1 in 5 PT boats were lost. Now granted, about 40% of those were to collisions with unmarked things underwater, friendly fire, collisions with friendly ships, or being strafed by friendly aircraft. But those are still casualties, even if they're dumb
there
ones.
was that one case for, I think it was like 3 months, where they said like half the casualties of a PT boat crew were people drinking the torpedo propellant.
Yeah.
The torpedo juice cocktail.
I just realized that on my little mini map it shows me where all the bad guys are.
Yeah,
And also
I thought
the
you knew
ranges
that.
of my weapons. No, I was just winging it.
You're in the moment, thriving in your lane, moisturized.
I was moisturized. You don't
That's
have
the thing
to yell,
is-
we've got company. We're hunting these people.
You'd have to yell, we got company. The tracers let me know.
As do their panicked flares. Which I assume means we're about to have unfriendly aircraft. Let's go ahead and give you all a stable firing platform here. Or as stable as I can. Gunnery from these things must have been just an absolute crapshoot.
That's why they gave machine guns.
Well, yes. I don't like the eye. Someone can see you. Where? I do not know.
In broad daylight? On the ocean? That's insane.
I thought that's why we painted these things camouflage.
I had some help in the Legion when I did mine.
Yeah.
And I painted it my boat sky blue.
Oh, yeah.
So the reason is at a distance they'll be like, is the sky in the ocean? They'll be like, no, it's a boat. Got him.
Alright. Base raid is completed. Okay, yeah, more light base defenses.
I would say cruise around the islands with your radar on, because you can sometimes find some coastal tankers and shit running with really light escort, and you can go smoke them.
Okay.
And that is easy money. Yeah, turn that radar on and just cruise around, and all of a sudden, because once you soften up an area with your guys, your navy will support
Oh,
eventually.
tasks. Oh yeah. See, there we go. They're all the way from Hada. Okay, that is a decision. And Task Force 34 over there is on its way to go sail into a fucking hurricane. I'm sure that will do them well. Oh, let's go take a peek at Pavuvu. You know, I do believe that taking Savo on Sunday, the 9th of August, 1942, would have moved things up a little bit faster.
Quite possible, actually.
Because Savo was kind of a bastard, if I recall.
Well, there was that whole island battle off of it.
Yeah.
Iron Bottom Sound right above Lunga there.
Mm-hmm.
Bad times for all involved.
Yeah, there's a lot of low radium steel right here, which is being illegally salvaged. Because nothing gets in the way of a good payday, not even war graves.
What's cool is if you liberate enough islands, you get call-ins that are U.S. Army Air Corps guys. So you get P-38s and shit that'll come in, which is quite nice.
P-38s were pretty mean little ground support aircraft. Everybody remembers them for their air superiority stuff, but they were a capable ground attack platform.
They can carry a lot of weapons.
They can carry a lot of everything. Something about being two planes stapled together does that. Okay,
yeah.
That's close enough.
And Chad has reminded us that CBs are terrifying. Yes.
Yeah. They just fucking build stuff, man.
I saw a CB who had a chest tattoo that said, "Fuck, fight, build, or destroy." And I was like, you're the man.
The reason there's so many like park benches and crap on any naval installation is because you have to keep the CBs busy doing something.
Or they'll break stuff.
Building random things for the installation. They are off training where they can't get in trouble, or they are deployed. We have to treat them like Marines. Wow, you are
The
taking
CVs build
time.
stuff like we build theme parks.
Task Force 34 is going off to get lost to a hurricane. Good God. I did not
See you later.
them to actually do that. I'm trying to remember which of these straits the Perth and Atlanta #1 went down in.
That was Savo, wasn't it?
Was that Savo? I thought.
Don't make me
it
get
was
my Operation
Perth
Watchtower
itself.
book. I'll do it.
Yeah, because they were trying to get back to friendly lines after the start of the conflict. Probably 6 months before this game is set, and they accidentally stumbled into a Japanese invasion force. Went down in a knife fight, like muzzle stamp with 5-inch guns kind of distance. Firefight with Japanese destroyers. I'm pretty sure it was HMAS Perth.
By the way,
Houston, yes, thank you. Houston was
Indonesia.
first generation Atlanta class.
Now, here's the fun. Speaking of boat shenanigans, we just released the next to last episode of Traveler on the podcast.
Oh, did we?
So, yeah, all the way up to finally meeting the big bad, and Operation Mornin' Cornin begins.
Yeah. We'll have to do. I do need ammo. Thank you.
What's fun is if you hold down shift, you can actually plot courses. Like multiple courses. You can say, turn here, go here, do that, and
Wow.
I set up patrols all the time like that, and then eventually it's like, do you want to hurt these people? And I'm like, yes.
I figure we knock them off Savo Island. And then we start working here around Lunga and take the rest of well, that's Guadalcanal. I forget what this one is.
You know what's kind of weird is that when the Germans pretended to be a colonial power just to make the Kaiser happy, they had that Kaiser Wilhelm archipelago over there, and they were like, this is the jewel of our empire, and there's like 4 dudes there. They're like, we don't know what we're doing. The jewel of the empire, I says.
Okay. There you go. Captain's important. He gets a life vest. I don't think anybody else needs one. Those are expensive.
Life vests are for winners, right?
Yeah, they are. Mostly, I just don't want to auto-select everything one by one. Allocate resources. How much is it for more ammo? We can't afford it. Okay. You know what? That's good enough. Confirm loadout. Godspeed. Anything interesting happen on patrol? No. I'm still waiting for Task Force 59 to arrive at the place that I cleared 5 days ago. Now, we can speed this up, I suppose. Why, yes, I would like to engage. Avu Avu is on Guadalcanal. That is an interesting table. I'm not sure if you meant to send that.
What?
In the chat. Ah, yay, cat. Okay.
Yay, cat.
Nothing worth talking about happened at work. Which is, frankly, the way that it usually goes.
I would say that's probably the best. Ideally. You don't want to be that person who's like, oh, what happened at work? Have you heard of the news? And you're like, oh, no. But yeah, the new Traveler is out on the BPL podcast, and it's pretty good. And
this is
we are slowly adding more and more and more to our Dwarf Fortress story, which is also on the Black Pants Legion website. And for people who like old school text-based Let's Plays, that one's a doozy.
It can be. They are skewing to the west there, so I'm going to gently turn east. See if I can make my mark over here. Oh, yeah, I told you that one, huh? That's all night shift shenanigans. Um, I'm on a different shift for the moment, so very, very different kind of calls.
It was kind of one of the fun revealing things is one of the comments we had from when we did the Magistratum Mundanus was somebody who said they thought those calls were all bullshit that I had you guys respond to.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sat back and he said, wait, I've heard this one before. And then he went and looked it up and it was out of a police blotter.
We took him out of police blotters.
Yeah.
Come on, I know it's night, but you have to see that thing. I can physically see it. Well, even for the Magistratum Mundanus book, we just sat and brainstormed calls that we'd gone on, modified them to work in the setting.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just that easy to write stuff for a setting. I know a lot of people are like, it's not all original, and I'm like, nothing is.
Yeah. They got their ideas for the setting from somewhere, too.
Well, and the other thing is that, like, nothing beats the ridiculousness of real life.
Yeah. And those 5-inch DP rounds just airburst as they come on in. I think we have solved the problem over here. Oh, that was almost a beautiful turnabout by those two. Try and stay in formation. It wasn't, but it was almost.
Almost counts with horseshoes and hand grenades, or if you're weird, horse grenades and hand shoes.
You know, the Germans call them hand shoes.
I know they do, but could you imagine a horse grenade?
The haircut thing felt too real to be made up wholesale. You deal with that shit all the time.
The haircut thing was based on a call from a blotter in the state of Alabama. And it happened. Like, stuff like this happened. So all you had to do was find the elements as reported. The players will, in their head, figure out what's going on, and then arrive, and then be slightly wrong, and then get violent. And it's hilarious.
Don't mind me swamping your Higgins boats.
And if you ever want to have a fun moment, like to look at like police blotters or just what you can take from the news, there's a game I played in the Legion before. I've also introduced it to the Ox. Type in your birthday, like just your month and your day. Don't put the year. And then type in Florida Man after that and hit enter in your browser. And you'll get some amazing headlines. And you can just take that stuff and turn that into a game. I knew somebody who did a game based on running the Neverwinter City Watch, and he used Florida Man headlines. Because Florida Man headlines are the closest thing they could get to Dungeons and Dragons in terms of just random weird.
We've tried violence and we're all out of ideas. We ran into that problem in that game.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, we did. Primark Pizza is not normally your first attempt at something.
No, Primark Pizza was just, this is dumb. Yeah, and then I'll do this to make it worse.
Yeah.
Knock, knock, throw door in. And hey, Steel Griffin's 40.
Hey.
Enjoy it. My grandma gave me some great advice on just aging, as best you can. She said the first 100 years the hardest, and after that you got it made.
I will never live to be 100.
I don't think anyone wants
to.
to.
Stress for that. But if
what if they invented?
I'd
what
have
if
to
they
just
invented?
make up a reason why.
What if they invented a method that stress preserved you? Like, what if they did a study that like stress doesn't kill, stress actually keeps you alive out of spite, and you're like, oh.
I've known people who I think were alive completely out of spite.
I think that explains a lot of people's entire careers and ambitions. Like I've known people who go to do something grand because they're like, I'll show you.
Oh yeah. Man walks. Okay, Clail Janus says my result. Man walks into grocery store with pet gator, charges a man with the gator for the last pack of beer. That sounds like a Magistrata Mundanus thing. 110%.
Yeah, you're like, well, what am I, animal control?
Yep. The answer is yes. You are animal control.
The answer is you showed up. That's your first mistake.
Yeah. God, Gamma 17 Delta out of service vehicle.
All right, Baby says her response: man attacked with snake, Florida man. Florida man charges after being bitten attempting to kiss venomous snake. Oh.
Yeah.
Florida man accused of planning to distribute over $1,800 worth of misbranded erectile dysfunction pills.
All right.
Man claiming to be Captain America storms into MacDill Air Force Base with a gun. Florida man arrested by trying to run to London across the Atlantic Ocean using a hamster ball.
Oh, God. Oh. I knew that was going to happen eventually.
Well, I mean, the boat's okay.
There's nobody left on the fucking thing.
It'd be funny if it just took off at speed. You guys are just bobbing around in the water.
Well, I yanked the controls back to idle as the collision was happening. I'm pretty sure my captain did that by just hanging on to the the engine idle
Telegraph.
lever. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, God, these things did have engine telegraphs, didn't they?
Well,
It's,
yeah, you have a
the
guy
engineers
yeah.
in the hellhole in the hole.
Yeah, he's between the two little funnels on the rear. He sits down there in between all those engine banks and has to put them into gear.
Okay, so it says 0. I think we've won. And it just doesn't want to give us the win?
Yeah, just pull away. They'll win it.
Ah, okay.
And that's the Marines going inland and shooting people.
Ah, there we go. Ba-ba-da. Okay, you said shift or spacebar to plot my course?
Shift.
Shift. Ooh. Rancher.
So I've done patrols, and you can just run along the coast and find little boats, especially if you put on that radar. You'll see them running between ports. You'll find coastal tankers and other stuff that you can go like savagely beat up.
Yeah, which is ultimately my end goal here.
Yes.
Because, you know, it sure shit isn't using the torpedoes.
Well, just wait till you get the Fido mine, and you can get a bunch of them. The boat that I run in my game, I have like 8. And I just dump them all in the water because they're acoustic homing torpedoes and then drive away.
It makes sense. You always do, like, cursed builds.
Well, I do it because it's the equivalent of taking like a bunch of rabid weasels in a sack and just dumping them in a room and locking the door.
We'll take a peek at Belanda. Okay. Still Griffin, I do want to run a Magistrata Mundanus campaign at some point, but I also admit I was going to change some things because I don't do the Kelso accent. Change whatever you need to. That is your game.
Yeah, that's what we want. If you want to go out and play it your way, play it your way. Like, do not feel the need at all to follow anything we suggest. This is your story.
Yeah.
And further, I think...
Go ahead.
Well, your friends would welcome any personal elements you can spin in that they like, and that's yours. Like, I'm not your dad. By all means, you do not need to obey anything I put down, because Magistrata Mundanus is a collection of fun stories you can play with. And fun elements, but by all means, turn it into whatever you want. It's yours.
I know that people don't like to run sometimes modules that they have not written or modified. I get the drive because I've been there, but remember that it is inherently creative to direct as much as it is to write. And as a GM,
Absolutely.
That's what you're doing. You're directing a story with your players.
And I've seen people take stuff that was an adventure as written. Like, I played through Curse of Strahd and D&D like 3 times. One time all the way through. The other few times people just got bored of it because it's the thing is that when I watch people take it, the best takes on this is just make it yours. So Panzer fans said they wanted to run the Magistrata Mundanus game, but all the players are the Stasi.
With a little more restraint, I think you could make that work.
Yeah, because you would just have to add a level of like party
Oversight.
awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, like where they're suddenly aware of you making the news. And that's not so great.
Yep. You know, and the forces of chaos may take notice if you start to really knock their colts out. But the Americans are especially going to notice if you start breaking their operatives' kneecaps.
It's not only that, if you become too famous, the head of the Stasi is going to have you on one of his infamous hunting expeditions.
Yeah.
That guy actually loved hunting. But he was reportedly an ass shot, so like they would have to go get animals and bring them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean that is the tradition for the Prussian nobility. You can't be asked to learn to hunt. That's for poor people who need to eat for food. You have them raise animals and then release them into the woods so that you can then hunt them for sport.
Well, of course. I mean,
Herr Kommissar? Yeah. Pretty decent song. I'm trying to remember what his name was now. Because like even Eric Honecker was fucking terrified of that dude. Milkia. Eric Milkia. Yeah. But you know that as the former Stasi guys age and watch the information age come to fruition, oh, good lord. I am under air attack.
yes. It appears
they
you
were
are
just
indeed.
Salivating, right?
Well, yeah, the age of information, everybody putting all their information out there in the world, that would have made them uncomfortably erect. Like their doctor would be like, "Don't do that. Your heart tanked." But yeah, I think that the med shot of Mundanus and anything else you guys want to do, by all means, you own it.
Yeah.
Memes belong to no one.
No.
Memes are yours.
Would sure be nice if I could call in, you know, some wildcats or something.
You can.
Oh,
Hit 1.
There we go.
Hit 2.
They have finally shown up. You're coming in for a run. No, you are fucking off into the distance. You're coming in for a run. No, you're doing loop-the-loops like you're in a fucking circus. Why can't we get competent enemies out here?
Well, I mean, would you want to bring your best to fight your worst?
I think they call that seal clubbing.
Ah, yes, that's fair. It's a time-honored tradition, seal clubbing.
I guess we gotta go chase the zero. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it, buddy. Oh, come on. Just come down here. Just a little bit. You know, oh, I bet I'm going too fast for you. Let me slow down to idle. I make just such an enticing gun run target, don't I?
He has got the zoomies.
He does have the zoomies. Enough so that it frankly astounded the Wildcats, and they also fucked off.
They're like, what?
Alright, I guess we'll just let this happen. Eventually we'll land enough onesie-twosie hits on him and he'll crash.
Or you'll run out of ammo and feel bad.
Or I'll run out of ammo and feel bad, yeah. This feels like following the fly with the swatter, waiting for it to land again.
Yeah, I'd say more. God, this is annoying.
Yeah, it is.
I just hear flight.
Switching targets or what?
I keep hearing Flight of the Bumblebee in my head. You know? Yeah.
Assume direct control of my weapons.
No, drive. Just drive in a line. He's probably waiting for you to take off in a direction.
I'm gonna be honest, I can see the zero. There's no way it's out of range of the 20.
I think it'd be hard to hit, though, with a guy whipping shitties up there.
Oh, yeah. We got something else that just came in. Ooh. We're turning this into a real... fun time.
Oh boy, they're bringing friends and everything.
They are. Oh god, they sank one of my boats. You guys not have any, like, damage control aboard? Is there any survivors? No survivors in the water. That's not a good sign. I think that's the zero that started all this. Fuck you, man. Just die.
Bring in more wildcats.
I'm not a wildcat, Colin.
No, you're not. Hit 1. Yeah. And hit 2. Bring in more. Bring him down, Legolas.
I will hunt you to the ends of the earth. He's doing the same spinning thing. Is this just him stalling to bring in more boats so I have to kill him?
I think maybe this guy fell asleep with his hands on the, just up there like...
There we go.
Oh!
Okay.
Yeah, got him.
Hell. I think he's bugged.
I think he's on meth.
I think he died the way he lived, screaming.
Awkwardly.
I often fall asleep with my hand on the lever. I think he kept trying to switch targets between my 3 boats in my squadron. Now 2 boats.
Sometimes boats explode.
Take a peek. Well, that one did, yes. I mean, they're made of mahogany. There's only so much you can ask of them.
Gasoline-soaked mahogany is the most durable of building materials.
So what level of PT boat captain do you need to be to learn the summon wildcat spell? So you have to scream certain arcane rituals into the radio on the correct frequency, at which time the wildcats happen to be within the summoning circle, which is conveniently approximately their fuel tank there and back. And with that, you may summon wildcat. No, they did use mahogany. They used mahogany plywood because it was pretty water resistant and pretty rot resistant and pretty easy to get a hold of in large quantities. And they didn't need it to build airplanes, is the big one.
If the U.S. Navy knew how to make good plastic back in the 40s, they would have made them out of that.
Oh, yeah. If they knew injection molding in 1939, PT boats would have been made like fucking lawn chairs. And they would have just plastic welded that shit together. Fiberglass?
It would be difficult. Well, I mean, maybe fiberglass, but
yeah.
Fiberglass is a little more time intensive.
I would see fiberglass probably, if they had that technology, much more likely to be used in the aviation industry. If you could do fiberglass B-17 wings and stuff like that, you could really increase your bomb loads by lightening the aircraft. Yeah, look at PBRs in Vietnam. Well, look at B-52s. You go from the D model to the F and the H model, and they go from those steel wings that droop so much they've got to have landing legs on the tips to the very, very rigid man-made material wing roots that they use on modern ones. And there's almost no droop in those wings now. Despite continual increase in weight of the engines as they upgrade over time. I'm just hoping I can get something cool. What with all the going and looking that I've been doing.
Well, I mean, you've been doing some going and looking. Been doing some of that thinking too, I bet.
Only sometimes. I think I might see if we can take Malapa next, or Ulawa. Looks like they're already planning to go for Ulawa.
You can follow your dudes around. You can follow like your navy around and get some easy XP sometimes, because they'll run into a task force and they get clobbered.
Yeah.
Then you can play the game.
Oh, I am playing. All right, let's run back to Hada. We'll go ahead and rearm, refuel, and then we will go support Task Force 18 as it goes to get its ass kicked, trying to take Ulawa.
Hell yeah. Get fuel, get ammo, get sandwiches. Ooh, good question. You're the PT boat captain. You've packed everyone's lunch for a day's excursion. What kind of sandwiches would you make for your guys? And if you say pimento cheese, I'm hanging up.
No, they're getting peanut butter and jelly. Because you know those will keep just great in a tropic environment.
My sandwich is sweaty. Oh, that is. See, people are starting to bring out the good stuff, like ham and cheese with goat cheese slices.
Okay, yeah, goat cheese is notably really, really awesome for the tropics as well.
Yeah,
So,
spicy mustard.
Task Force 22 just fucked off. It's not supporting its own invasion anymore.
Maybe they got scared.
So I guess I'll go do that instead. Yeah. It just left the Higgins boats and amphibs.
Bro, that says government cheese, not goat cheese. My apologies.
Oh, yes, government cheese.
The amalgam of all the other cheeses.
Good old land of the
By
lakes.
our powers combined.
I don't know. I never had a problem with government cheese growing up.
Neither did I. I was just like, oh, it's processed cheese. You know,
Yeah,
it
slightly higher quality taste than Velveeta, but the same concept. Now the crazy thing is the cheese vaults out in the Ozarks. Because government cheese has to have a place to be stored. And way out in the caves of Missouri, there's a cheese vault where the government stores its excess cheese.
Imagine if there was a fire. And some guy gets like buried in molten cheese.
The Missouri equivalent of the molasses flood.
Yeah. It was a very slow death, but a delicious death.
Turns out that aspirating molten cheese is terrible for the body.
It's like all those guys at that plant where they were making the popcorn spray-on flavoring, and they ended up getting that disease from being around the aspirated fumes of that, and it was like popcorn lung.
Yep. Go, 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 go. Stop. Go, 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 go. Do not hit me, you son of a bitch. Alright, so they lost 2 out of their squadron. They started with a full one. Running down here to double check. Because if there's one defense active on the beach, one sandbag bunker, we don't take the island.
No, the what's crazy is they'll actually rebuild island defenses.
Yeah.
You can't take it all out, so you can only like whittle it down to a point, and then your guys will come in when it's easier. I think it just modifies how much time it requires.
Probably. Well, these guys were going to lose this fight before I got involved. Because they went from like 16 to 10. The enemy went from 24 to 22.
Ah. Yeah.
Mainly because the surface combatants fucked off and left the Higgins boats and the amphibians to flounder. Also, interesting fact, as far as I know, Missouri is the only state with a dynamite factory still in operation. I mean, that would make sense. There's not as much demand for commercial-grade dynamite anymore, as it's been supplanted by a lot of more modern, stable
Yeah, most of the
options.
stuff you see used in quarries anymore is gelignite, which is a derivative that's a lot easier to handle and actually really stable. It's one of the most common mining explosives used. And there's a lot of stuff out there that works a lot better than just good old fashioned dynamite, because there are some limitations to dynamite that are vastly unpleasant. The least wise being nitro exposure and getting the massive headaches for that. Are you trying to jump the? Oh!
Not going around.
I mean,
There's
why would
lives
you?
on the line. Yeah, no, we would regularly get called, still do, for unexploded dynamite and ordnance that people find, because every grandpa in the 60s had a crate of dynamite from the hardware store. And
Yeah,
naturally, you don't use the whole thing to blow stumps, so you've got half a crate that just sits there and sweats nitro. And then that nitro crystallizes to the point that you've got this crusty crate that nobody can read. And then Granddad dies, and it comes time that you start cleaning out the garage, and suddenly you have a very dangerous situation on your hands.
just a little bit of
Um,
dynamite.
Scariest I ever saw was a guy that stored his dynamite in an onion sack hanging from the rafters.
Oh,
And that was an urban legend among like his kids. Was, oh yeah, we're gonna have to deal with Granddad's onion sack of dynamite at some point. Ha ha ha. Well, Granddad did pass, and they had to go deal with the onion sack of dynamite.
just a
Um,
little dynamite.
just a little bit. So yeah, no, that was terrifying because it was a solid nitroglycerin stalactite from ceiling to floor.
Yeah, that's suboptimal.
Um, you know when you call bomb squad and they come in and they took a look at a situation and they ask the homeowner, do you want us to burn it or blow it up? Because those are your two options. And they go, what, the explosive? And they say, no, the building.
Yeah, burning it's safer.
Burning it is safer. Yeah, the forbidden stalag. Yes. Um, because nitro, it pops and it sizzles when it burns, but it doesn't kaboom. Take it he wasn't a smoker? No. Oh, yeah.
So I mean, shit, we're managing to actually run a pretty good help in the Navy campaign.
Oh, the Navy's getting tons of help from us.
We're the biggest helpers.
We're super
We're
helpers.
helping. We're helping.
I can almost call in another boat, but I can't.
What I would recommend is not to call in another boat. I would recommend saving up to get the mine.
The mine. How much is that? $24. Okay. I thought it was under the torpedo slot.
It is. It is. Hold on. So I have to do a little bit of history here. Go into torpedoes, right? And go into your the Mark 24 was technically the Mark 24 torpedo
Yeah,
is
Mark 24
technically
mine.
called, yeah, was a mine. They called it Fido, like the dog. And the idea was you drop it from the air or from a boat. It's a passive acoustic homing torpedo, and those things just wrecked U-boats. They were absolutely fantastic. But you can get a pair of Mark 24s for like 4,000, I think. But you can also get depth charges if you want to blow yourself up.
Well, we
Uh,
do occasionally run into submarines, and it is nice to be able to hurt them.
Fido mine will kill subs.
Ah, excellent.
I found that
Because
out in game.
normal torps just run over top of them, which is
No,
hilarious, but not helpful.
I on my build where I have nothing but those mines, I cut them loose at a battle, and I ran off and just started hauling ass away, and I just started getting kills. It was like destroyer, cruiser, destroyer. Then it was like submarine, and I was like, "Go Fido, you're a good boy."
We haven't needed med kits yet.
Fido is a good boy.
There we go. 250s and a 40 Bofors on the back deck.
Yeah,
We're
why not?
starting to get marginally mean. Oh, all right. What is your mission, Task Force 22?
To get lost in the ocean.
The world wonders. Alright. I say we just go on a little looky-loo here.
Just a little looky-loo.
Yeah. It should give us enough time to technically have scouted that. We'll see what's going on up here, because that looks like bad news. Yeah. Wingless Raven, walk into Ace Hardware and ask for the case of explosives and see how they react. Tell them your granddad got it there once. 100%. You'll find them with, well-known hardware store brands on them. You had to sign for it and say, oh, I swear I have a stump I have to get rid of. This country used to be quite a bit different than it is now.
Yeah, they used to just let you have stuff, but no, now you gotta pay by rules and taxes and stuff.
There we go. Ooh, they are getting their teeth kicked in. Okay, they went through there. suppose I can.
I suppose I can too. I'm a real boy. I'm helping.
Okay. Oh. Here's the secret skill, Griffin. You're already on it. We all are, because all of our data is out there. Go get 'em, boys!
Them Duke boys is at it again.
That readout at a glance just made me think, do you want to sink an island?
Why not? Why wouldn't you want to sink an island? What's the island ever done for you, huh?
This one? It's been a pain in my neck. Apparently what it's done. I do appreciate that all of my gunners are mustache and pipe people.
Well, I mean, you have to have class. You can't buy that.
No, you can't. But all of my loaders and repairmen are clean-shaven, wide-eyed types.
Clean shaven.
Can you mod
wide-eyed.
this game? So, this does have workshop support. It was only recently added, like I think a couple months ago. Nobody's done much more than a couple of custom maps. I think there's 6 mods on the
there's
workshop
some
right now.
There's some custom scenarios that people have set up. They haven't really quite figured it out, and the game is still being developed, so
Yeah,
there's
with-
not everything you need there.
Frankly, quite recent updates as far as such things go for an early access title. But I mean, these are the
they're
people
really-
that did Space and Bomber Crew and some other games that we did like. So it makes sense that they're taking their time with this. I very much would like to see some custom ship holes or boat holes show up. You know, PT-59, which I was talking about earlier, was a 74 footer, which is not a standard make. They stripped all the torpedo and depth charges off that thing, and they lined the sides with 50 cal machine guns with gun shields. And strapped, I believe, a 40 to the front deck, and kept the Olercon on the back, and then had the 2 gun tubes and added a 3rd gun tube to turn it into just the meanest gunboat that they could with the stuff they could find in the Solomons at the time. So being able to add that much firepower to one of these would probably break the game a little bit, but it would be quite nice.
It would be fun.
Yeah. So they're down to 0, but they still haven't technically taken that.
All we gotta do... Oh, posture check. All right.
Foster.
There we go. All better. All the injuries undone.
Alright, there we go. See if there's anything we can sink in this fucking course we played in. Really? Okay. Set course for Tulagi.
Battle Tulagi. Kill.
They think they can have it, they're wrong. Ooh, okay. This will be a fun mission. There's nothing around here to pet. They're all laying on the bed.
Man, those dogs are just making it difficult for chat to enjoy your dogs vicariously, aren't they?
I know. Especially since apparently the noises they make do not show up right on the audio, given everybody's reaction whenever one of them starts getting vocal with me. So are we just kind of out in the wind? Okay.
You're defending.
Well, yeah.
Do your
there
best.
was supposed to be another pair of Elcos. Unless we are the pair of Elcos. Oh,
You're
no.
the pair of Elcos.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. You looking for backup? Because that's you.
I am the cavalry. I probably don't have enough ammo to do all of this.
You could beat it up. I mean, that's a start.
No longer a boat. That's a nice way to put that.
Hey, you don't have two guys on your 40 mil, so they're not going to be shooting.
Oh, fuck me. There we go. Thank you for catching that.
That's what I'm here for.
Ow. Alright, so that's going down. Oh, that was a coastal bombard?
Good job. Their little improvised bombardment boat isn't going to win.
Think the big thing. Come on. Think the big thing. I don't think I'm going to sink the big thing.
Well, you can try.
Well, no, I'm completely out of ammunition.
That would make this harder, yes.
Oh, God!
It seems to have gone poorly.
Oh, there goes my friend. Okay. Kevin Schmitz is getting people up. Good for you, Kevin. KK. Stop shooting at my shit. I'm no threat to you anymore. Let me just
You say that.
scavenge my materials. Oh, I see. Because we don't have any med kits, those guys are just constantly dying and then going back to their post.
Yeah, that sounds like most people mid-career.
Oh, that is hilarious. Okay. Yep. Go ahead and get that last piece, and then I guess we mosey on out of here. Say goodbye to the brave soul that went into this battle with us. Since we're not getting any Wildcat support or nothing. It's an awful big hole in the boat.
It's a fine boat. See, that's why it's made out of wood.
That is why they were made out of wood.
Yeah, it's made out of wood. You put a hole in wood, wood still floats.
Yeah, Steven and Antonio are having a bad time. Yes, they are.
I would say that they're probably having a much poorer time than they intended.
Yeah. Alright, get Antonio up. Kevin, it's your one fucking job. Get him up. There we go.
Yeah, Antonio.
The tech guy keeps trying to repair the boat and gets knocked down. No, he keeps trying to repair the boat and dies.
Yeah, he's in a constant state of death.
Wonder if it'll still let me rearm and refuel here. No. Ooh, okay, I gotta go to the long guy, I guess. Will I have the fuel? Yes.
He'll be all right. Maybe. You know, we'll see.
Collins. Hmm. Confirm. Loadout. Alright. I have some room for something on the front. Something on the front. Something on the front. Not that, though. Good God. M2 mortar. Rockets kind of suck. Can't afford any of that.
We're starting to get into stupid territory here.
We are, but we have to be very conservative about our efforts. Because we could very
Look, here's what I
easily
say.
lose
Here's
this.
here's my idea. Heavy weapon aft, right? Heavy weapon aft. Well,
Oh,
I
I
mean,
bet we could double up the bowfers, run out of ammo twice as fast.
what if you just put one of them 76 mil, gun mounts, and then nothing else? No, you don't have that in points. Shit.
Nope.
I was gonna say that would be hilarious.
I don't even have enough for the meat chopper.
Well, take off the Ehrlichen and put on a Phytomine. Trust me, they're great. You only need a pair. They can sink a destroyer.
I could do double Olerkin. Gets me slightly heavier throw than the single Bofors. And frees up my other repairmen. God, 400 short. Okay. Fine. At least it's more ammo. So, we sank most of the big stuff. We've got one big stuff left up here.
One big stuff.
One big stuff left up here at Tulagi, which was pretty mean. I'll give them that. They did sink my other L cup.
Right.
Which that's going to be that sub chaser, which is, frankly, that's a pretty mean ship that the Japanese built there. Those were used as coastal gunboats.
They could do pretty much anything that a destroyer couldn't.
Yeah, in water that was too shallow for the destroyers. So
Yeah.
it is all the way over there, I think.
It'll be the one with the smokestacks.
I'm going to come over here instead and bully all of these landing ships.
That's what I do in these. I avoid the big boys. That, or I cut, again, the 50 phyto mines I hold and just watch them run away like rabid weasels and then just sit still. And it's great because that's my opener, and then I hunt who remains.
Okay. With enough points, I think that is a very viable strategy. I just don't think I have those points yet. I'll be able to call in Wildcat here in not that long. Okay, there is the submarine chaser then. I'm also drawing these guys in, hopefully, towards the shore where I can rely on shore defenses for a little bit of assistance. Alright, club that baby seal. Come on, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it dead, kill it dead. Good, good crew. Alright. Now run away before the big stuff finds us. And we will angle so that our rear deck has angle on the enemy. There, come on. Ooh, yeah, it is dumping rounds into the water, whatever it is. Die, 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 die. We're going to sit on the Wildcats for just a second. Gonna see if I can take out some more of these landing craft while the sub chaser is dropping shells on something else. And then when it's down to just it, I don't think it has very much anti-air. Maybe I can call in the Wildcat bombs and the Wildcat machine guns and solve that problem.
Well, that Dauntless with a 1,000-pounder will go right through it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it sinks a carry, it'll sink that little piece of shit.
Alright, flank speed until 200 and then back off. These are the rules. Oh, these are amphib tanks. Okay, I was wondering why they were actually hitting pretty mean.
I think the Japanese built all of a amphibious tank.
Yeah, it was a Hago modification, I think. Bathtub hole. But for gameplay reasons, they need something like that, so they get something.
No, sorry, hold on. I am wrong. They built 182 of them, which was certainly more than enough to lose them all in a day.
The Solomons?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, most of their landings were unopposed or lightly opposed. Wake, Philippines, some of the Dutch holdings, Singapore. Those were where they had fights, but I mean, Singapore, they attacked over land. They had no use for amphibious tanks. They really were not doing the amphibious landing on opposed shore like we organized our doctrine around. I don't believe. They would come in at night. They would drop their equivalent of their LSTs. Bombard the hell out of the shore, kind of same as we did. Come on. Oh God! Who got blown off?
MASH 1, MASH 3, MASH 4. Bring all your planes in while they're busy.
Yep.
Just bring shit in. They want this to be a fight, give them one.
Ow! God, stop blowing holes in my boat! So if that Dauntless drops that 1,000-pound bomb on a landing craft, I'm gonna cry.
I'm gonna cry laughing because that's hilarious. That's like shit I've done in War Thunder, where I like pull the stick too hard, and I managed to, you know, drop it right in their lap.
Yeah. So the one thing we have done is we've pulled that submarine chaser way out of position to support landing.
Call in the Wildcat. You got points. That's all you gotta do. Let your Navy do its job.
I don't want to play with him because he's bigger than me, so I'm going to run away bravely.
You have no ammo. How can you play with anything?
That is a problem, isn't it? Oh. Yeah, that Dauntless, I don't know what it dumped on, but it did not dump on him.
The planes seem to be killing all the landing craft.
Yeah. No, please God, just let me... No, no! No,
I think your boat's in trouble.
Repairs? Repairs? You on repairs. Please God, repair shit.
Oh no.
Okay, medic the medic, Captain? It's the kind of situation we're in. Okay, Captain, you are now the medic. Medic, you're now the captain. 5. We're calling in artillery on that fucking sub-chaser.
You have to aim it.
I do?
Yeah.
I just called it in. Where's it going to land?
Oh. The island where you were facing, so...
Oh, no!
Your guys on the island are like, thank God. What a brutal fight. Fuck that island.
I think they legitimately sank that fucking thing now.
Yeah. Bring in more, more aircraft as soon as you can.
I've got to go get my guys, but yes. The Navy's trying to replace all the Wildcats with Corsairs anyway, so if we lose a couple.
Yeah, we're
on
helping.
this,
We're helping. You have no ammo.
I'm trying to pick my people up. That's the only reason I'm still here.
I was gonna say, like, I just scared.
Get on the net. On the net? Good enough. Go.
Hey, the Navy's showing up to help again. Yay,
Oh,
they
wow.
didn't strafe you.
That is a plus. That's a super plus. I can't believe I wasted the artillery. We're just gonna keep calling them Wildcats in. Triple kill! Multi-kill. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only use the edge. That's the kind of fight we're having here. As I sit here in my boat full of lies and holes. What the fuck is that? Aren't we having such a good time here? I would go closer, but they'd kill me.
Well,
Those are
yeah.
tanks.
Call in a Dauntless with a bomb.
I called in more Wildcats. I want to save the Dauntless. There's going to be a time when I need a 1,000-pound armor-piercing bomb dropped by a person who gave up on life in 1941. And that will be when I call the Dauntless. God, that guy almost buried it in the sand down there. That landing boat's really concerned that he's the only one left alive, isn't he? Alright, there we go. Allied defense done. Thank God I was here to save the day. You know, frankly, we're in pretty good shape all told.
I think we're doing our part.
I'm doing my part. Ah, there we go. Backspace. Thank God for the aviators. They did nothing. Okay. Why that one? Why do you want to go for the north end of the island? I'm just confused. Not disappointed. Okay. Let us begin once more. Can't buy any friends. Let us begin once more a patrol. Boop, 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 boop. Ah, really?
All right.
They're attacking Lunga now.
Oh, they're gonna do that.
Jesus.
However, we are at 2 hours almost.
Yes, we are.
We managed to survive this long.
I can't believe we haven't lost a PT boat.
Yeah, that I kind of expected that to happen.
I fully expected to lose like 4 and have to send like a 76 footer with a single Lewis gun into something just to try to scrape points together.
Did our part, right?
Detecting mic issues with depth. Interesting.
That's got to be a lie.
Cool. So, we will, I think, save this. Save.
And then come back and die.
This is, PT 420. Nice. All right. So we will let you all go and have a good weekend.
And thanks for tuning in, guys. This was fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.